how's the Riot MMO troubled? It's just the thing about Riot, and this is one of those things that's like a positive and a negative. Riot doesn't release things that it doesn't, like, it's not 100 fundamentally % behind. And like take Valorant, League of Legends, that kind of thing. I mean, and they cancel projects all the time. So the thing that I would say is a little, I wouldn't say it's troubled because Ghost left, because he left for some very valid RL reasons from what I'm understanding. But like, we're hearing so little about it, and it's been in production so long. Like, I feel like if they were really leaning into it, which they kind of have to, because that's kind of how Riot works, I feel like we'd be hearing more about it. But I hope that's wrong. I do. And I do really, I think if Riot really buckled down and made an MMO, it could be awesome. So, yeah. They did hire Bex, which is great. So I think that that's awesome. Bex is amazing. And they also, I mean, a couple of years ago, they hired Aurelian, who is, well, she's more of like global community. So, you know, yeah. I guess I shouldn't say that the Riot MMO is trouble. I should say that
her disappearance. Still, the scythe of
I have no, like, I feel like we would have been hearing more about it at this point, but again, maybe not. What projects have they canceled? We don't know what projects they've canceled. They're good about keeping that. I mean, they Riot's a very methodical company in that regard. Yeah. You mean it's troubling that we have no news about it? Also, ding. Kind of. That's I feel like it's yeah. I'm sorry. I have to be real careful sometimes about like stuff like this. There's nothing the only thing that I would say leads me to think the Riot MMO is troubled is that we haven't heard anything about it. But like Chad is pointing out, we didn't hear a lot about Valorant. So that's a very good point. And yeah, it has been kind of under production for a long time, but I don't know if that really means anything. Maybe they're just being really careful with it. So, oh no, I don't think that's a good point. Liminally says, I feel that they don't need to advertise it as they have a built-in player base. I mean, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. But TLDR, I really want to know more about the Riot MMO. that's all it comes down to. If it's a big company with a lot of resources, and they generally know what they're doing. Even if I don't play their games actively, I still got a lot of respect for what they do. So I really hope that we see like a big MMO come out from them. And it's just been we've been heard about it for a long time. We haven't really seen any public progress. So I hope that things are going well, and I hope that we hear about it somewhat soon. If you want to know more, check out this video. He broke down a lot that the dev team uses as materials. Huh. I will look into that. I've not heard of that, gentleman. Okay, I need a gun. A gun that's, I want to say 36. I hope it's 36. Okay, a mithril blunderbuss. It's a higher damage one. That's good. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this. Okay, go ahead and get this. Well, why would you put the mailbox so far away from the AH? What is it that makes an MMO good? Oh man, what a loaded question. The big things that make an MMO good are that it runs well on lots of different computers. It's solid in terms of technically and bug-free, no exploits, a lot of quality of life, and most importantly, and this is a very umbrella term, but engaging content. And I say all of those in a very bucket sense because people's MMOs preferences are all over the map, including my own. And I would say my MMO preferences are pretty niche, to be honest. So I'd say those are the big ones, though. And thank you. Chat's adding not pay to win. Absolutely, not pay to win is also huge. Yep. Also, I will add has a lot of content and a developed end game. I would say that a good MMO out of the box has a developed end game. Something to do when you are done. There's two stages of an MMO. There's the leveling phase and there's the end game phase. And both parts are equally important. And a lot of games have not focused on the end game phase, and honestly, a lot of games have failed because of that. So I would say that having both of those be developed is also really important as well. Huh. Let's do shopping. Scope. There's no better scopes than a standard available? Really? Is that right, chat? You forgot good PvP? I don't think an MMO needs good PvP. I think good PvP is a great bonus. I do. I think it's a great bonus. But I don't necessarily think it's 100% needed. Yeah. Make my own scope? I think I can actually make a standard scope. I can make a standard scope, but that's it. Bummer. What's the name of the next level scope up from that? Oh, here's Deadly Scope. I'm gonna do this. Well, let's try that now. I wonder why that didn't show up. That's weird. Yeah, there it is. Strange. Oh, it's a schematic too. What's the schematic? How much does that cost? Ugh. Engineering 210. I'm not gonna do that right now. Chain buy? I don't want a chain buy. I just want one. Yeah, 210 engineering is a bit off for us, unfortunately. There's a load more button after you search for scope. Oh, thank you. I'll look into that next time. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think having an interesting world with good dialogue, well-written dialogue, and interesting, fun places to explore, and interesting characters and stuff, I think that's absolutely incredibly important to some people. I think some people aren't going to care about that at all, and that's totally okay. 100% fine. But I think some people really, really care about that stuff. So, you know, I mean, it's something that absolutely should be considered as part of a good MMO. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Fly to Desolus. Ooh, okay. Okay. I will say, having the voiceover add-on in this has gleefully increased my enjoyment of this game. Being able to talk to an NPC to turn in a quest and just turn it in and run off and have him like speak the quest dialogue and stuff is really cool. Really cool. Like I super dig that. Super dig it. What about a player-driven sandbox like EVE Online? What do you think would matter there? So there's a lot of cases, EVE Online being a great one, where I would say EVE Online is more of a niche product. And what was so good about what EVE did is that they kind of zoned in on this specific gameplay style, this specific gameplay loop, and then they basically went to their community and said, how do we make this perfect for you? And they kind of like, over the years, turned it into what they did. I'm kind of hoping Ghost does that, but my problem with Ghost is that they're going a much more mainstream approach. So I really think Ghost is going to have issues with vocal minorities, and it's going to be interesting after seeing their panel how they're going to deal with that. So like the Ghost guys are really leaning into building this with the community and listening to your feedback and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of like they went so into it that it made me concerned that the game may not turn out very good. Like you need to have a very solid foundation and backbone, and then use community feedback and experience to meld that backbone into something they want. But at the same time, you need to keep constants and concretes. And from that panel, it makes me sound like they're making the MMO that the community wants, not necessarily the MMO they want to make with community feedback, but they want to make the community MMO that the community wants. And that's a different beast. Those are two different things. You need to have like that initial solid foundational vision and then make the tweaks. And from the sounds of that panel again, I got weird vibes about how they're going to do that. So we'll see. But I will say that the Ghost guys are flush with experience and talent. So, I mean, that's a rock solid team. I'm definitely going to be following them pretty closely to see what they come up with. And I hope it turns out well. I feel like if you let the community build what they want, they will not like it. Well, Drew FPS, that's the biggest issue with building a game with a community is vocal minority. If you have a small group of your community that is louder than the majority, and they're saying things the majority doesn't want, then it becomes very difficult to properly balance that. So, you know, if you have like this small group of diehards, and then you have a silent majority that is not participating, I mean, there's going to be a huge percentage of players of MMOs that want to enjoy the game, but want nothing to do with the creation of it. And making the game for them is going to be difficult when you have a small group of people that are beating your door down saying, you're not listening to us, do this, do that, make it like this, make it like that, we've been asking for this for months, why didn't you put this in? And it's like, you know, that's tough, man. You can't just say like, we're gonna listen to everyone and make the perfect MMO. That doesn't exist. you can't do that. So and then if you make the MMO the little vocal community wants, well, maybe the majority of people think it's dumb. In which case your MMO kind of sucks, you know? So it's a thing. It's a thing. What's my opinion of old school RuneScape? I don't really have one because I've never played it. Yeah, I don't really have one because I've never played it. I might play old school RuneScape on stream one day. I mean, I loved EverQuest. People have told me that I might like it. So, who knows? Maybe I'll try it on stream someday. We'll see. I have no plans right now, but, you know, never say never. I didn't think I'd ever play WoW on stream, and here we are. So, you know, yeah, we'll see. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Maybe OSR is going to open some awesome hardcore server, and all the streamers are going to go play on it. And then it's like, okay, guess I got to play RuneScape now, you know? All my buddies are playing and having a good time. The FOMO is real. All right. Jonah says, you won't like OSRS. I mean, again, I have to say, it ticks a lot of my old man grindy boxes, but okay. Okay. But no, to answer your question, truthfully and honestly, what is my opinion on OSRS? I don't know, because I've never played it, and honestly, if anything, I'd like to just play it one day so I have a better answer to that question. So we'll see. We'll see. I feel like OSRS is a game that could go through the EverQuest treatment, where I feel like if they were to just take every single thing in that game and port it to a nicer looking engine with better QOL that was like in a really nice interface and everything was super crisp, I feel like that game would probably really benefit from that, from the sounds of it. From the people I've talked to, I feel like that could be something that would be really cool. Maybe they'll do that one day, and maybe that'll be our first introduction to it. Oh, somebody says they did and it failed. Really? It didn't work? It's called old school for a reason. Oh, it wasn't the same though. See, that's the problem. The idea would be that it would be like those Monkey Island games where you could press a button and it would be the new version, and then you could press a button and it would be the old version. You know, like in Monkey Island, you could just hit a button and it goes between like the 1990 version and the 2020 version. Like, that's what they need. They just need a button. Beep, boop, boop, boop. You know, that's the kind of remake I'm talking about. Yeah, like Diablo 2. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. I think RuneScape could do well with something like that. I think EverQuest could do something well with something like that. It'd be kind of fun. But again, what do I know? I haven't played it. Set your Hearthstone to Nigel Point.
Your body looks worn and your spirit weary. Rest
I hear
yourself
that.
beneath our roof and allow
Hey,
everyone
thanks,
to
Not
guide
Flurry.
your
It's good to see you,
dreams.
man. Level 29 height. Did I learn my new hunter skills? No. Do I get anything interesting at 36?
Glad to see the reclaimers aren't in short supply of work or adventurers willing to help out.
Get regions for reclaimers and shipwreck.
Adventurer. You've made a smart move helping out the reclaimers. Everyone needs something these days. They've lost a family heirloom, a magic item, a loved one. You never can tell, but with the reclaimers around, there's no reason. For the right price, everyone can't find what they
the
want.
Alliance.
My first order of business is for the mage Carnitol, a noble of some sort in Stormwind.
Well
Seems his ship was attacked by sea giants while off the coast in the northwest of Desolus. He and his servants tried to bring one of his more valuable chests ashore, but when the sea giants attacked in droves, he chose to abandon it and teleport himself and his servants to safety.
Rude.
He wants us to find the chest and its
Actually, not
contents
rude, I guess.
and return it to him in Stormwind. One of my tasks out here involves picking up some reagents for Leftwich, a gnome mage in Karanos. Roiton seems to think it's easy coin in the bank since we're out here.
Man, this place
already.
is desolate.
He doesn't really care that we're short-handed, as is. The first few items on his
Checks
list
out.
should be easy enough to get, and it'd be a good chunk of coin for anyone helping me out. I need some horns and claws from the Hate Fury Satyr to the east of here.
Have I gotten all the core WoW experiences? Not really. I'm doing hardcore WoW. So with that, I'm being like super cautious and not doing dungeons and stuff. So I don't know if what I'd call what I'm doing now is like the core WoW experience, but it's WoW, and I'm having a good time with it. I've heard dungeons and stuff are pretty core.
We are fortunate, and
I'm not
we
really
should
doing
press
those.
our advantage. One of the Centaur clans, the Gelkis clan, is in brutal war with the Magrum clan.
Brutal.
If we attack the Magrum, then perhaps an alliance may be struck with the Gelkis. Speak with Bufek the Wise in the outskirts of the Gelkis camps in southwestern Desolus. Through her, we might strike an alliance with the Gelkis. Desolus is a land at war. The Centaurs wage war with each other, and we believe the victor among them will spill out and threaten our strongholds. That we cannot allow. We must learn how to beat the Centaurs, and to do that, we must ally with one of the clans. The Magram Centaurs war with the Gelkis. If you fight the Gelkis, then the Magram might consider an alliance. Earn the favor of the Magrams, then speak with Warug in the Magram village in southeastern Desolus.
Bro's giving me a laundry list.
I am Valarial, adventurer. I've come here to discover the whereabouts of two missing nobles of a Darnassian merchant family. House Malum, the father of the house, fears the worst, and I am to do everything I can to find his missing children. I have yet to start my search for Tyrannus or Galinda, but I'm hopeful I shall not be here long. Last word tells of them passing through the Stone Talon Mountains a few weeks ago. If you find their wagon, please come find me immediately.
Okay, Sobex. Will there be more WoW streams in December? I really, really like these streams. I have no idea. Probably like cozy streams, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. All depends on what my goals are and everything. So we'll see. I'm always kind of hesitant, confirming content months away. Yeah. Confirming game selection months away, I should say. Because I have no idea what it'll be like in a month. What's the current goal? My goal right now is to get level 60 on hardcore. That's my goal. Is this a WoW stream right now? Just need to know if I need to find a new stream. Yes? And maybe? I'm confused. Now I'm confused. Maybe. Probably. Go with probably. It's probably a WoW stream. Oh, this is Shenmue 3, not WoW? That's good. Oh, this is Civilization 6. They've gone an interesting direction with it. Okay. Cool. I'll take it. It reminds me of that one time someone said Void Train was boring, and you reminded them that there are a lot of other streamers streaming games with a very aggressive salute. Yeah. I try not to do that these days. Mm-hmm. No skin off my back if someone finds what game I'm streaming boring. Whatever, man. Whatever. Not anything I can do about it. But you want to? Well, I mean, like, I'm never a fan of it's hard because a lot of times, especially over like one line of text, it's hard to discern intention. And there are ways when people say stuff like that that they couldn't be intending to be incredibly rude. There are also ways when they're just wanting to state something. So I think the stuff I've learned while streaming is that it's much better to err on the side of caution, you know, and kind of assume that maybe they aren't trying to be dickish about it. Yeah. And you know, if they are, whatever. Whatever. Let's feed the burb. Let's feed you some. Man, that's a really. You eating good tonight, boyo.
Good show.
Hey, Bronco with the 10 bomb. Thank you, bud. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, dude. Donka donka. Weldsman with the 13. Thank you. Let's sub it off as I level. Well, thanks, Bronco. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah, man. I love Greg's alerts. They're so good. They're so good. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. Is Dune Awakening on your MMO radar? So, Dune Awakening... the short answer is yes. Yes, I'm looking at Dune Awakening. But the thing about Dune Awakening is I'm not entirely sure it's an MMO. I think it might be one of those cases where the dev wants it to be something, but it's not really. So, which happens all the time. But I'm not entirely sure it's an MMO. So, am I excited for Dune Awakening? Yes. Am I excited for the Dune MMO? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I call it that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looks like it could be a kind of fun survival thing in the Dune universe. We'll see. I mean, maybe it is. They haven't been super overt with what Dune Awakening is, so maybe it's more MMO than I'm thinking. But yeah. What I need Funcom to do is I need them to cancel all projects. All of them. Every one of them. I need them to fly every single one of their developers to one central location. And I need every one of them to get us Anarchy Online 2 as fast as possible. That's what I need from Funcom. That's what has to happen at Funcom. Yep. That's what the world needs, to put it bluntly. Yep. Anarchy Online to this day is still one of like that game was so far ahead of its time. It was trying to do things that even games these days can't do properly. And like if they actually tried to make Anarchy Online 2 and used one as a blueprint and redid all of those really cool ideas in a framework that could actually handle it in some ways, like, oh man, like that, yeah. That game was so buggy and it was such a mess, but it's because it was trying to do so much stuff that was so far ahead of its time. But yeah, the game was so cool. It was great. What was so good about Anarchy Online? The itemization was super cool. The way they did PvP was a lot of fun. The skill system was kind of a class/skill-based thing, which was really fun. They actually tried to do, in the late 1990s, a procedural dungeon. So you would go to a console and you would put in, I want this type of dungeon that's this level that does this thing, and it would then create your own personal dungeon out of procedural tiles, spawn it somewhere in the world, and then you would have to run out to it, complete it, and then get your custom reward. Like, it was insane. It was so cool, and every player could do this. You could make a dungeon whenever you wanted to. They did some really interesting things with like some of their classes, like their tradesman class was super interesting. The way they did pets was really cool. You could fly anywhere you wanted. It was just, there were so many things about it that were, again, so far ahead of its time, and only like half of it worked. Because again, it was like so ambitious. But yeah, what game were we talking about? Anarchy Online. But it was a very, very cool, interesting game. And the whole world was completely unique. All the classes were really interesting and could do fun and cool things. But yeah, that's an MMO that I would love to see get a second. Like an actual bona fide 2. I would love to see that. Yep. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Did I play Guild Wars 2? Oh yeah, I played Guild Wars 2 into the ground on release. I played through the orb system. If any of you remember the orb system, possibly one of the most poorly designed MMO mechanics in history. I don't see how it made it out of workshops. Whoever designed that MMO mechanic, I hope left the industry, because it was possibly one of the worst things ever put in a game. It was obscene how bad it was. Yeah, it was so bad that they tried to fix it over the course of like 3 patches and eventually said, you know what? We're just taking it out. Gone. We're just taking the whole thing out. We're never going to fix this. It was a bad idea. It's gone. What was the orb system? So the orb system was basically, it was a PvP system that would give your side world buffs for holding on to these specific items. And the problem with this system is the entire system, foundationally, gave obscene power to those who were doing well. That was the system. If you were winning, you got stupidly stronger. And not just you. If you held an orb, your entire side got buffs in world PvP. So it was just this insanely, like who would think this is a good idea? And what was even crazier is, if I remember properly, if you held an orb, your side would get like power buffs. And I think the other sides would get like loot buffs. And it's like, Why is that not the other way around? Why? Like, don't you want the side that's doing better to be not as strong and have ancillary bonuses that aren't related to them being stronger? Like, but with the bonus of getting more loot? Like, again, they, like, at first I think, and I'd have to look back, it's been so long. I'm pretty sure the first iteration was if you held an orb, you just got more power. And then the second iteration was, oh, well, that's okay. We'll give some loot buffs to the other side. And then it's like, that didn't fix anything. That doesn't do anything. And then the best part was, by the end of the orb mechanic, that's when players found out they could take the orbs under the world. Because the whole point was you would have to fight into enemy territory. If you picked up an orb, you'd have like a giant beacon and show up on the map. So everyone would know to go stop you. And then you would run out. But by the end of the orb system, players had found a way to go under the planet, under the map. So they'd get the orb, go under the map, and just walk it right out of the map. And you'd see like hordes of enemies like just standing like, it's like the meme with John Travolta, just like, where's the orb? And it's just like walking under the map away. It was so bad. It was just like, it's one of those things where I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall on the meeting where they came up and approved that idea, just to hear how they would have justified it. Like, how? Like, who signed off on this? Like, anyone with the smallest modicum of game design would be like, oh yeah, no, this is a terrible idea. So do not put that in the game. That is a horrible idea. We should put a stacking buff on where every time you kill a player, you get 50% more damage output, and it like stacks to 50. How's that sound? That sound good? Sound good? Okay. Oh, we should also have it increase their hit points. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. Let's do that. Oh, no. Let's not do that. That sounds terrible. That's a horrible idea. But yeah, it was, the orb system was a thing. It was a thing. Trickle down orbonomics. That's exactly right. Oh my lord. Yep. It just works. It just works, chat. It just works. Don't question. It just works. Have they announced whether SOD will be subscription based? I personally have no idea, but I would be baffled if they didn't charge you money for SOD. Anything that costs money usually needs to make money. So I would assume it needs a subscription, but I am not sure. I do not know for sure. Oh, chat is saying you do need a normal subscription. Okay. Probably part of the normal sub. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Oh, WoW requires a sub period? I thought there was a free-to-play version. Is that not right? There is no free-to-play version of WoW. Oh, up to level 20. Okay, there we go. It's free-to-play up to level 20. So there is a free-to-play version. It's just very limited. Thank you. Okay, good to know. Free-to-play up to level 20 on retail only. Cool. Thank you. Chat so helpful. Let's go turn this in.